Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. Today what we're going to be doing is putting shade cloth on the inside of my greenhouse rather than the top. And the reason for that is when I ordered my shade cloth, I ordered it from growersolution.com and I had to have it custom made. What I did was measure from about 6 inches above my hip board here all the way to the other side, and I think it was 22.5 feet. And then the length of my greenhouse was just 60 feet, so it's 22.5 by 60 feet long. I had to have it specially made. It took 3 to 4 weeks for that to come in, so I got that. Then it hit me, I can't put the shade cloth on the top of the greenhouse like you would normally do because of these wonderful trees here. Very destructive, I should say, trees. And the reason for that is this. Pine needles. These are pine trees. And if you know what shade cloth is, it's basically a netting. So these pine needles would come down, rather than hit the greenhouse and roll off, they would stick into that netting. And rather than it being 40% shade cloth, it would be 100% shade cloth. So I can't put the shade cloth on the outside of the greenhouse. Now when I built this here, I built it far enough away from these so a branch won't come down and break the greenhouse, of course. Didn't think about the pine needles too much. So normally what you would do is on the hip board here, you would put these eye bolts. Let's see if I can show them to you. These eye bolts right here, you would screw them into the hip board. Then the grommets on the edge of the shade cloth, I think they're 2 feet apart. But basically I was going to weave a nylon rope. I bought some pretty good nylon rope, and weave it from these eye bolts into the grommets, you know, all the way down, and that would have held it really good. I can't do that now, so we're going to put it on the inside, and the only thing I can think of is using zip ties. Now these are weather resistant zip ties. I use these on my chicken tractor. It's been 2 years now and they're still holding up great. This has a little more UV light coming through it, and I don't know, we'll see how long these will last. They're easy enough to change, so it's not a big deal. I could, in the meantime, put these up to hold it, and if I think of something else better, I can always come through and put whatever I can think of better than zip ties. Alright guys, so that's what we're going to be doing today. Shade cloth on the inside of the greenhouse. So let's get started. Alright, we have to lay this shade cloth out. Got to figure out where the middle of the shade cloth is, mark it, and then we're going to hang it from the middle of the greenhouse, like kind of like a curtain, and then we're going to start putting it up to the sides, the inside of the greenhouse. Now it's just a matter of finding out which is the length and which is the width. I think we got to take this out this way. Give me that one. Okay. Yeah, let me give you that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Gotta go the whole length.
Oh, man.
So what I'm going to do now is mark the very middle of it with a marker. Mark both sides. So when I get on the inside, this is going to be the middle. I'm going to hang this up on the middle support that goes along the inside. And we're going to do the same thing on the other end. So what we just did is put the middle part where I marked of the shade cloth and zip tied it to the purlin on this side and on the other side down there. Now, because it's hanging, what I'm going to do is get some of that nylon rope that I have, put it on the inside of the netting here, all the way to the other side, and pull it tight so we can pull this up a little bit. And then with the zip ties, tie it up to the purlin, that main support you see, that main beam. Bring it up with the rope, and that should hold that shade cloth up there pretty good. Alright, so I have the shade cloth hung already. Got that going all the way down. It looks pretty good. It should work really nice. It's getting hot in here because air is not flowing through like it's supposed to. So I gotta start hanging this thing real quick. So we're gonna basically do the same thing at the middle point between here and down where the hip board is. I'm going to put a rope going all the way down to hold this up, just like I did the very top. So this should work out pretty good. Alright, so I attached the rope to the one end of the greenhouse. Now this other end here, I'm going to connect to the exact same thing on the opposite side. And we're going to put the shade cloth on top of this rope. And then this rope will pull it up against the hoops, and then we're going to zip tie it up there, and hopefully that'll work.
There you are.
Well guys, it looks like I am done. And you know what? It's not perfect, but it'll work. I'm pretty happy with it. This will definitely cool it off in here in the summer. What we're going to try to do is see what we can grow here in the summer, because here in Texas the summers are hot and that sun has no mercy. Our sweet potatoes are doing really good in here. We're just experimenting with them in here. I know they need more open area, of course, but we want to see if they'll grow in here, because as you know, the sweet potato leaves are edible. They're like spinach, and we will get some potatoes out of the beds too. So it's a win-win situation there. But if they'll grow in here with this shade cloth in here, and with the roll-ups up, of course, so the air can, you know, come through here, that would be great. We already know that I can grow our potatoes in here, and if you watch my other video, I'm going to put a link to that up here. Our potatoes, we had a pretty good harvest. Out of one 7 by 3 foot bed, we had roughly 32 to 35 pounds of potatoes and per bed. So that was pretty good. So we're learning, trying to figure out what will grow here in the summer. We already know that during the winter time here, we're going to be growing all kinds of cabbage and broccoli, all types of lettuces and spinach, and all those cold hardy type vegetables, leafy greens. So this is just an experiment for us. Well, we're learning as we're going, I should say, not experimenting. But it is an experiment, because we're trying to see what grows. You can do all the research you want online, but you know how that goes. It's still, it doesn't always work out the way that you want it to, right? So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video on how to put a shade cloth in your greenhouse. So this worked out pretty good, and I'll keep you updated as the season moves along here, and see how well it really, really does. This is a 40% shade cloth. All right, guys. So thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next video.